I just wanted to impart a word of motivation or encouragement for anybody that may need it tonight, and tell you it's in the house. It's in the house. It's in the house. I find here in Mark chapter 7 there is the outlining of the sense of the text before it is we come unto the verse of transcript on tonight. I find that there is Jesus being opposed but questioned by Pharisees and Sadducees. I'm not sure which time this is. I know this is early on in Mark chapter 7, but I want to allow you introspective on the text of my perspective that this has been happening a long time. I know it's not in his home, but it's in the street that he finds his greatest struggle. I need you to know tonight that anytime you are on mission, assignment, you're headed to your destiny, you can believe that the attack is going to happen first at church. You got to know that the people who came against him are people who are believers as well. If you were thinking that the most that hated you was just people who didn't know God, let me incite for you on tonight. Most of your biggest rebellion, most of your biggest dissupport, most of the lack in your life will come from other believers. And it's not that they're not on the same caliber, it's that they're not having the same calibration. But see, you have to be so tied into what your mission is to know that they may have good intent, but if it stops you from getting to your purpose, you have to say, like Jesus is in the house. I know he's on assignment, he's on mission, he's on task on tonight because he keeps going to where he needs to be. And I've only come to drop a short word to somebody to let you know you still have to go where God has called you to. It does not matter if you have support. It does not matter if you're on your own. It does not matter if you believe that it's too big for you. If you think your voice is too small for it, you still have to go for the assignment. I know the calling is greater than what it is that you feel. You still have to keep going. It doesn't matter if there are 30 kids or there are one dog that just won't stop barking. You still have to keep going. He says, I'm not letting anything stop me on my destiny because there's somebody waiting for me. I need you to know that before he gets to where he's going, he stops and has a discussion with them. He says, what is it that's good about doing something that is the tradition of man, but you forget the calling of God? And for somebody on tonight, you have been performing for men, but have not been doing it for God. And I know that you think that you're called and that you are wonderfully working, but I got to tell you on tonight that it means no good if you don't do it for the one who called you. I know that we ascribe the accolades of man many times, but let me just assure you that if God called you, many times men won't clap for you. That if God calls you and you have too many people supporting you, let me assure you on tonight that there may be the divine favor, absolutely, but most of the time it's going to be the attack against you that's just trying to stop you, not kill you, just trying to stop you from getting to where you're going. You got to know to not take it personal in this season. You got to know that people only see what's in front of them, but they don't know what is ahead of you. You are called to stay focused. You're called to stay purposed, and you're called to stay tuned in. I know that he finds himself in a sticky situation answering questions that have nothing to do with nothing. I think many times you'll find yourself asking questions of you that have nothing to do with nothing. You got to be able to reassure you, reaffirm you, not question what God told you, not be able to question how it is that you've come this far, what you heard, or if it is the assignment or the light or the mission is on you, but be able to affirm for you, be able to affirm for the people connected to you, be able to affirm for the entire household that I know that the light still rests on us. I got to tell you on today, he's headed to the house. Is what the Bible says. It says he's headed to the house. I'm not sure what house it is, but he's headed there. And you got to know that whether you have a permanent or a temporary situation in your living condition, you got to know God is already headed to the house. It don't matter what it is you look at on tonight, whether it's sick, whether it's dying, whether it's dead, whether it's depleted, whether it is just undetermined, you got to know God is already headed to the house. So I came on tonight not to be affirming, but I came on tonight to be declaring that God is already in the house, because the text said he's headed there. So I don't know when he got there. I'm not sure what time of day. I'm not sure what accolades they laid out for him, even if they met him at the door, but I know he's on the way. And for somebody that's good all by itself, just to know that God is on the way. And I'm going to just affirm that over myself, that Jeremiah, God is on the way. And you got to say it to yourself that God is on the way. I don't know what struggle you face, what challenges have been before you, what is undetermined in front of you, what tell you in your mind that you won't be able to, or that it won't thrive through. Let me assure for you on tonight that God is already on the way. And you got to be able to look at that situation and say, God is on the way. It's going to change one way or another. I know he's on the way. It don't matter if you look at school that you didn't get into and thinking that all hope is lost for you. You got to know God is on the way. And it don't matter if you're looking at a person, a place, a car, a material, a situation, a circumstance. You got to look at it bold in the face and say, I'm not sure when. I don't know how. I'm not sure when he's going to work it out, but I know he's on the way. And as long as you're able to determine in your mind that God still finds time to make it and show you, then you'll be able to change it through the word of he's on the way. And so you can tell the devil he's on the way. You can tell the problem he's on the way. You can tell the bank he's on the way. You can tell the situation he's on the way. But most importantly, she has to tell herself that he's on the way. So I'm talking to somebody who has something attached to them that's not performing the same way that you want it to. He says that here is the biggest problem. It's not that the daughter is struggling with a demonic spirit. It's that the mama can't see anything different. You got to know most of the time the problem is not the other person. The problem is with me. You got to be able to say, God, I know that here is the problem that I think that I see. But she approaches him and not in affirmation, I guess, to suggest that the problem is on the daughter. But she says, God, my vision needs to be fixed. And I'm talking to somebody who is mature enough to understand that it's not them, that the correction needs to happen in my vision. That God changed the glasses, he's in the house. I need you to change the sight, he's in the house. I need you to change the walls and change the settings. Change the scene, but change how I would take it or mean it. He says he's in the house. See, first he was headed there, and maybe you lost it in transition, but let me tell you, you won't miss it in transcending, because he's already in the house. And you ought to affirm for everything in your future that God is not on the way. He's already made himself home. This is where he's going to stay. I need you to know on tonight, when you invite him in, watch what happens. It changes the atmosphere. Wherever he goes, the Bible said he said nothing. He didn't have to hold up a sign and say, I'm God, I'm in the room. He didn't have to share with anybody why he came there or who he came for. He didn't have a name badge. He didn't have a tag on him. He didn't have a bullhorn, and he was not shouting to the top of his lungs that he is the son of, and trying to save everybody who wants to be, healing folk who ain't even asked for him. He just showed up. And for you on tonight, you got to know God don't introduce himself, but he lets the work speak for himself. You got to know that the sign that God is in the room is that it's changed. Yeah. It's changed. It's already getting better. It's changed. It ain't that God is going to announce to you it's going to be 6 months from now. He just changed it. It don't have to be confirmation that it's already in the account and it's pending. It's that God just makes it show up. It has no introduction here. That there is no Terry in the spirit. They don't have to go to a 40-hour prayer meeting service. It's that it just shows up. And for you, you've been waiting for a long time. I just came on tonight to affirm for you that he'll show up. He'll show up and won't speak, but start changing stuff. He'll show up and won't say anything, but he'll just start changing your name. He'll show up and don't announce that he's coming or making it about him. He said, I let my works testify of the goodness of God for me. That sometimes you have to know what you're called to do. It's not called to mission that you go and tell people, hey, this is me that you look at on tonight. But on tonight, be confirmed. Be in discernment to hear it, but be in absolute hesitation. If you would ever be apprehensive or fearing it, that God only shows up, watch this now, not to declare to the room that he's there, but he shows up and allows what he does to speak for him there. My last point, and I'm done. He says that whatever it is that you want, it's not meat for me to do it for you if I didn't do it for the kids first. The Bible says, she said, even the dogs eat what the kids drop under the table. I need you to know that he won't leave you out. It don't matter if you're under the table, if you're under the house. It don't matter if you're on the roof or if you're out in the trash can. It don't matter if people put you out, don't want to talk to you in it, don't want to be bothered with you about it, don't want to fix it, don't want to change it. If you can't even see it, you got to know that God won't leave you out of it. See, I serve somebody who is but he is omnipotent as well. That means that he is omnipresent, that is present yesterday, but he is all powerful yet tomorrow. And when you combine the two, you have a situation like I find in Mark chapter 7, where there's a woman that has a demon-possessed daughter in her mind. And you got to know that when Jesus shows up, he never touched the girl, he sent the word. And then for you, you got to know that if you send it, that you will see it. You got to begin to speak everything that's life over your household. It's in the house that his word is. So I know everything dead can't live here, but it shall live, thrive, and survive. It's in the house. I don't care what you looked at yesterday. You got to know that today is a new day, and the promise is that life lives here, that love lives here, that security lives here, that stability lives here, that everything that we would think that God is blessing in this season with, every place we will aspire for, everything that we would ask for, everything we will hope, dream, pray for. He says that I've already sent the word, but I need you to run ahead, catch it, confirm it, and then live in it. The Bible says that she left. She left to go to the house. And I'm a little bit confused here, but I'm done. I promise. You got to know that she left the word because the word went ahead of her. And you got to know you're moving in this season. You're moving to just hearing it, to now you're walking to see it. God, I don't just want to be talking about it for years. I don't just want to be in a place where I think that you're with me, but I can't really see you. She says, I want to walk in it. I want to walk in everything that was prosperity and still in love. I want to walk in everything that was understanding and still obedient. I want to walk in everything that is my kids getting better, that the kids are getting the right education, that the family is healing, that they're mended, that bodies are being healed, repaired, that you are taking everything that was hard and delivering it to an easier place. It says when she got to the house, watch this, it says that she found the devil gone. You hear me? You got to know it left. And I know the energy wasn't good, but by the time I get home, my God, you ought to speak that over the house. By the time I get home, right? By the time I get home, it's going to be fixed and repaired, right? By the time I get home, there's going to be food in the fridge, right? By the time I get home, God is going to confirm, but a way will already be made. I'm not talking about to see it. I'm talking about I'm living it. And by the time I get home, see, you ain't got to wait in this season if you are a real believer. If you somebody who believes that the power is still in the name, then you ought to speak that Jesus has already been to the house, that the word already precedes me there. All I got to do is make my mind match up with my words, that'll catch up with my feet. And all I got to do is walk into it because I'm living in everything that was the word that went ahead of me. I only came on tonight to affirm for somebody who was apprehensive. Only came to confirm to somebody who wasn't sure. Only came to be witness of testimony of your tomorrow that maybe you had doubt on yesterday. Maybe you was unsure about the will, the word, or the way. But can I tell you on tonight that if you were If you had caught maybe a late flight in, let me tell you on today that he already landed before you, sent the word ahead of you. You got to know that he won't miss you. It's already in the house. It's in the house for you. God bless you tonight.